Three things. This is a continuation of yesterday's video. Three things that is the chatter going on in your head that I hear from my clients most often that keeps them from the money. Okay, let's just cut to the chase. I was going to say keep them from growth. It keeps them from their clients finding them. It keeps them from expanding and growing. Honey, it's keeping you from the moolah. Let's get into it, okay? So, three things that I hear most often from my clients and most often from women that I work with in whatever your business is. It doesn't actually matter what the business is because when people come to me, they want help with marketing and expanding and growing and getting more people to see their business because they're passionate about what they're doing and they want to grow and expand. Awesome. Well, these are the three things that eventually come up. One, certifications. And that really has to do with like certifications, education, certificates, programs, diplomas, degrees, whatever, classes, courses. And ultimately, what that comes down to, what it really boils down to, is a spirit of perfectionism and like a spirit of like just that word qualifications. Like when you hold yourself to a certain standard of like, you don't believe really that you're worth listening to because you don't have qualifications. Like you don't have paper man made certificates that say you are someone that other people should listen to. And so, really, when you kind of dial that all the way back, you could dial that back to esteem, personal esteem. You can dial that back to a lot of things. But the biggest thing is perfectionism and it then serving as an excuse to keep you delayed, stuck, and not producing in the marketplace because you are so focused on having paper degrees. Let me tell you something, or certificates, or whatever you think certifies you for people to listen to you. Have you ever purchased from somebody who wasn't certified? You ever bought a cupcake from somebody who was selling it out of their house? You ever bought a cookie or a hot meal? Or you ever traveled in other parts of the world and bought something from a restaurant? You don't know if that person was certified, or bought something from a cart off the street. You don't know if that person was certified, or went and got a massage somewhere. You don't know if that person was certified, you know? So, um, there's we buy food in the grocery store every day that we don't know what it's been certified as. Okay. Or when you eat out. Okay. So sometimes we're putting all these external pressures on ourselves that are imaginary and unnecessary. And there are people that will work with you right where you are, how you are, because you have something valuable to contribute to them. Can you impact their life for the better? Yes. Can you help, like if you're a beautician, but you're not certified yet, but you can like hooks, everybody know you on the block can lay the hair out, honey. Okay. That means you have something that people want and you can give to them and you can service them whether you're certified or not. The certification can come later if you just want to do that to say that you've done it. Okay. But I mean, we got people in government officials and government offices that ain't certified. Okay. And they're running our country. So sometimes we have to put that into perspective that it's really like this. It's like a denial spirit and a self-sabotaging spirit that's wrapped in perfectionism, that's wrapped in something that sounds legit. But again, when you are a spirit led entrepreneur and a spirit led woman leader of a business, and you work with a spirit led marketing professional and PR professional, I'm going to go straight to the laser. What is that? Boop, let's get to the root. I'm going to laser right to the root and pull that thing up by the root and let you see yourself. And that's really what it is. So that's one that always comes up. And even if you feel like you're somebody who, like, let's say you've been in business for a while, you're already making money in your business. So there's a certain part of you that has confidence that I can do what I want to do and I'm good at it. There could be some area of your business, like let's say you're getting ready to launch one-on-one. You already have one-on-one clients, but let's say you're getting ready to launch group sessions or you're getting ready to launch some new venture on media or your social or digital, or you're getting ready to launch a podcast, or you're getting ready to just start posting more videos of your face. Like there's always going to be something that pops up in your business where, again, I've seen this with my clients, even if they're already successful in business, they could come to me and want to have a heart passion to venture into something new, or God gave them this idea and they want to do it. And then boop, this thing will pop up of like, oh, well, I'm not certified, or like, oh, I probably should take a podcasting class, or oh, maybe, I don't know, you're good at that because you're a journalist, and like your brain is trying to find limitations and reasons and excuses to keep you from doing the thing that's in your heart to do. Ooh, that's a word. That's a word. Second, that comes up a lot is, which is a perfect segue, is visibility. So there are a lot of people, a lot of women that I work with who, I have a testimonial of a woman actually who I have booked her different speaking engagements at local radio and like different press outlets, media outlets. And she says like it was kind of scary for her, but I coached her through it and let her know that everything's going to be okay. And everything was okay. And she was fine and she showed up great and it was great for her business. And so sometimes, and now I see her online all the time. She's always posting her videos online and, she's rocking and rolling in business and, over decades in business. So visibility is just a fear. Like showing up and putting yourself out there is a fear of visibility, a fear of visibility. There we go. And really, that's another one that you just have to confront and show up anyway. And when you do it, you'll realize that it was really nothing for you to fear anyway. And people often overthink it and think you have to, which is kind of going to go into my third point, and think you need to have all this equipment and all these skills. And, now you need to be a professional broadcaster, or, oh, Sunday, it's so easy for you and it's so second nature for you because this is your field and you're interested and you're good at it. Well, I am good at it. And that's why I can help you understand that you're good at it too. You just need to practice and you just need to put it out there. And more than even beyond putting it out there, honey, you need to press record. Literally. You literally need to take your finger and press record. Okay. And once you do that, because then you have the people who like, oh my God, I have so much content everywhere, but then they're not putting it out. And sometimes that has to do with, not wanting to be critiqued, not wanting to get negative feedback from people. But one thing you have to understand is that it comes with the territory. Like, I forget who told me this, but I learned this right after grad school. And somebody said, either you are the consumer or you are the creator. There's no middle ground. So if you're the type of person that's always, you're not putting something out there, you're not, and I'm not saying that you got to just put anything out there in the marketplace. And I'm not saying you may be doing something or be in some type of business where you don't even want to put it out there. There's people that have faceless businesses, right? So like, and let me just explain what that means. If you have a faceless business, like you might sell dog clothes, dog jackets, like winter dog jackets to dog moms and dads. So if you have like a little chihuahua that lives in Shiberia, Chicago, and winter is just winter there, like you could have a whole business where you sell little dog coats to dog parents. And you don't need to put your face on there. It's all about the dogs, right? So there are people that do have faceless businesses, um, that does not require any type of personal presence. But if you have a personal brand, or you are a coach or a consultant, or you have a sports foundation or a sports charity, or you are, you bake bread out of your house, or you have treats that people love, you know, any kind of brand like that sort of is an extension of a personal brand because there's a story there. And to be honest, the dog parent could have a story too, like, hey, I lost my dog in the middle of the winter because they got thermal shock and it inspired me to want to help other dog parents. Like there's some story there, but there is a such thing as faceless businesses, and and you can run one of those. That's a thing as well. But then there are people who are more, your brand and your business is really an extension of you. And so there's a personal element to your business, even if it's a sports charity foundation, right? Like if Angel Reese has a foundation, it's Angel Reese's foundation. It's working in her favor for her face to be a part of her brand identity for that foundation. It's going to open more doors, it's going to generate more funding, you know, that sort of thing. So, but that's a personal choice, how you want to set that up for yourself. I help people who are a part of their business and they're more like their story is a part of the foundation of the business. Um, yeah, their story is a part of the philanthropy of their business, the foundation, the nonprofit. They are not faceless. Okay. So, visibility is going to be important for those kinds of entrepreneurs or those kinds of nonprofit organizations. All right. And so, at some point, you just have to rip the band aid, honey, and you have to embrace putting it out there. And when you do put it out there, you have to know that people are fickle. Sometimes they're fair weather. If they did it to Christ, I know people say that all the time, but it's true. Literally a week before they crucified him, what wasn't they saying Hosanna and laying palm trees at his feet? And then within days, honey, they were just changed. So, and thankfully, God has not called you to endure that type of scrutiny. Amen. So, but there will be something that kind of comes with the territory. And just know that the positive is going to outweigh the negative unless you just only focus on the negative, right? So just know that that sort of comes with the territory, but God's got you and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Everybody may not love you, and that's okay. It really is, because that's another thing. This is kind of a bonus. I didn't plan on talking about this in this video, but sometimes women come to me and they want to serve everybody, and like sometimes I'm helping people refine their mission. Like sometimes I get women who, and I actually enjoy working with women who are already up and running in their business and been doing their business for a while, and they already have success. They know what works for them. I love that because we have data to work with. And then oftentimes when I'm working with them, I have to take a look at your blueprint, your foundations of your business. And sometimes those things we have to clarify because they're all over the place and they're lofty. And sometimes people don't even realize that they've just been operating in their business and they've just been doing it and they've just been being successful and they've been closing with the one-on-one clients and they've been landing it and doing it, but they don't really, they know what they do, but it's like big and lofty and all these words. And I'm able to come in and help them really get core center focus, and oftentimes that's very niche. It's not this broad, like we are the world and helping everybody. No, not if you really want to make some money. No. Okay. So that's just a little bonus for you. Okay. So visibility is important. So you're going to have to confront the fear of putting yourself out there, especially, like I said, if you have one of those businesses where you are a part of the business, your story is a part of the business, you're visible, your pictures on your website, like your story and your content, you matter basically. Okay. 3, technical usually is the other thing that comes up with the clients that I work with about how they, it technical ends up becoming one of those excuse barriers, keeping them from forward progress. And by technical, I mean, for example, with the visibility thing, it could be like, oh, I don't have the right camera, or like, how much is that going to cost? Or I need a team. Like, there was a woman once who asked me, had I ever, helped somebody make $1 million before? And I'm like, yeah, actually, multiple brands. And I was explaining, they asked me who and where, and I was explaining to them. And they said, oh, they had a team, right? Okay. And y'all should know by now, I'm not always going to explain everything, because sometimes you can talk with people and they've already made up their mind about something, and good for you. Good luck. Okay, so, but here's the thing. You would be surprised at the businesses pulling in multi-millions, doing it with a 16th of the amount of real human talent, time, energy, and bodies that it takes to actually get something done. There's a lot of businesses out here that have multi-million dollar portfolios that are literally making miracle magic happen, like making the car look like it's running on four wheels when it's actually running on three or two. And I'm not recommending that you do that, but I share that to say that you don't need as much as you think you need to produce what you're trying to produce. And this is what gave me the confidence. I had always been doing the marketing stuff as a side hustle and sort of word of mouth, and I didn't advertise it. But what gave me the confidence to be like, I can do this for real and really help people full time instead of helping people part time, or, when people come to me and then I'm working a full time job somewhere else and then they need my help and then I'm not able to help them because my energy is spent somewhere else. I woke up to the fact of like, hey, I was helping a company make millions as the only person doing what I did at that jump company. The only one. Now they had other staff, but I was the only one in marketing doing what I was doing. That's it. The only one coming up with the creative ideas, the only one coming up with the promotional calendar, the only one coming up with what social was going to look like, what digital was going to look like, what's our campaigns here, the only one paying attention to our e-sales, e-commerce, and how we're going to make money and sell online. The only person coming up with how we can extend the life force energy of all the content that you've already produced. How can we extend that and make more money off of what's already created instead of constantly focusing on new creation, new creation, new creation? How do we extend the life force energy of what's already been produced, especially stuff that's really, really good? What can we set up to do that as a team of one? Okay. So now, this particular company that I'm talking about, they did have like, a graphic designer, a copy editor, but a lot of these people were contracted. So that's a whole nother video for other people who want to figure out how you can structure things and work with people, um, anyway, with like less overhead. But the point is, not going into all the business side of things, but the point is, a lot of people use technical as an obstacle when, honey, if you could peel back the layer on the brands that you feel like are brands to look up to, they're making miracles happen with very, very limited staff, extremely limited staff. All right. To the point that it's like it's giving burnout for the people that are working there. Okay. So, you don't need as much as you think you do, is the point. And so a lot of times people will say like, oh, all I have is my phone. That's all you need. And coming from someone who, like, I had all the fancy equipment, I had all the stuff. And one day God allowed that stuff to be taken from my life. And I'm a firm believer that God is going to restore and has already, I have to speak as if it's done. God has already restored it back into my life. And in the meantime, though, God was like, use what's in your hand. What do you have? And it's funny to me when I post these things and people are like, oh my God, what equipment are you using? Honey, there's so much available to us and we don't need as much as we think we do. We really don't need as much as we think we do. So, some of your favorite YouTubers, some of your favorite folks on Instagram, TikTok, they're all using their phones. Not everybody is using, DSLRs and mirrorless cameras and DJI microphones. And I can give you a list of tech, honey. If you just want to go out and buy a bunch of tech, I can give you the Sonys and the Canons and the DJIs and Rode mics. I can give you all the stuff. I am a media professional. I can tell you what software to upload and download, and what'll be good for editing, and what's good for audio, and what's good for your podcast, and what's good for writing scripts, and what's good for transcribing scripts. And I could give you all of that information, and what's good for titles, and what do you title your videos, and how do you know what's a high CPM, and what's good for SEO, and we could talk all of that. But the reality is that comes at a certain time and a certain place in your business. And when you are, even if you've been in business for a very long time, when it comes to visibility in tech, less is more. And as you get stronger and get your legs in those areas and you decide you want to invest in some other stuff in the future, then you can do that. You can buy the lights and the set and pay for the studio time and all the things, but you don't need that really to get started. Okay. And again, you can be getting started even though you've been in business 20 years, 25 years. That's one beautiful thing about being a media professional who was classically trained in a university. From the time I was in secondary school to going off to university to post university, okay? The media landscape has changed drastically in less than 2 decades. Drastically. I remember building my first website on Dreamweaver with literally HTML code, X's and O's, hyperlinking. I always remember I had a beautiful sunflower and the petals. You could click on the petals to go to different pages of my digital portfolio, is what it was called. And so I built that website, a picture landing page with, I had to go in and manually put the little squares, I forget what they're called, but hyperlink. I had to manually hyperlink each petal and tell it to go to a specific other landing page. Like, you don't have to do any of that anymore. Like, you don't have to do any of that anymore. There's AI websites where you could just literally talk and say, hey, build this, 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 this. Now you need to know what to tell it to build. If you don't know, build a responsive website, build a responsive website across platforms so that it's responsive for um, regular desktop screens, mobile screens, laptop screens, iPad screens. Um, there's a lot of different things, and and this is why it is still important to work with a professional to help you navigate those waters, because while there's more technology to make things easier and more accessible for people, and thank God for it, because the people on the other side that were actually producing this for businesses in the marketplace, or producing it for ourselves in the marketplace, or producing it for individuals in the marketplace, it was just such a time suck. And we didn't want to be stuck behind the computer forever. So now there's all these wonderful resources to help us do it quicker, faster, but you still kind of need to know what to ask it, or you're just going to end up with something that you don't know how to work. Yeah, you just don't know how to work. So I'm going off on the deep end of tech. So hopefully that didn't go over people's heads. But it's way more accessible now. Even a year ago, I found out this is in the past 5 years. Look at how fast audio editing has changed. So I used to use Adobe Audition, and I would edit podcasts on Adobe Audition. Okay. And literally 5 years later, just five, I was in a podcast studio and they were saying, hey, I was able to download this plugin. And depending on the audio that you have, you click this plugin, you click a button, and it edits the whole audio. It takes out all the ums, the awkward pauses, everything. All you have to do then after is go back and listen over to it just to make sure that it edited the piece the way that it is acceptable for it to be edited. And I was like, what? I used to sit and manually do that for multiple different podcast shows in one day, maybe like 4 or 5 shows in a day, because the goal is to have so many in the can already. That's another tip. The goal is to have so many in the can all ready to go so that your weeks are more consistent, because you already have stuff pre-recorded, kind of backlogged. And so it kind of gives you running room. So you're not always recording in real time, real time, real time, real time. Even though recording in real time is a skill, that's helpful as well to help you show up. But that's a whole nother video for another time. I'm giving you all a lot of information, so I'm going to stop there. Those are the 3 things that I want to tell you. Certifications is a thing that I feel like gets women to choke. Second thing, visibility and the fear of actually being visible, really because of critique or fear of saying something wrong or feeling that you're not good enough, or it's hard for, I feel like, grown women to really say that, or like, oh, I don't want to have to wear makeup all the time. I don't want to have to show up and be perfect all the time. Then don't. Who's forcing you? Then don't. And then if you don't like that, then do. Like, get out of your own way. Three, technical barriers. Then simplify it. If you don't understand all the tech and you don't want to try to understand all the tech, then use what you do understand. You know how to press record on the phone, right? Use that. Boom. Excuses eliminated. You are up and running. Especially for my queen bees that are already doing well in business and already making money. Honey, let's scale you. Let's go to the next level. And I haven't been advertising at all, but if you're interested, hit me up. Y'all be hitting me up anyways, wanting to work with me, and I don't advertise. So there you go. There's your invitation. If you want to hit me up, you can. I'll make sure to put a link in the description for people who are interested in connecting with me to see how you can work with me to whatever you need for your business to grow to the next level, to get visible, to get over your excuses, and to scale you, honey. Because it's time. As I've been saying, it's time for the wealth transfer. I'm a firm believer of it. When the children of Israel, the Hebrews, when they left Egypt and God sent a deliverer to take them out of Egypt, they left with the wealth of Egypt. And it says that God sent the deliverer at a specific time. I have to go find that scripture, okay? But in Exodus, it's like so many hundreds of years to the day. And I believe it says that in the King James version. It's like 420 years. It's like something like that. It's like 420 years to the day. To the day. So God is keeping record. This is when I start feeling my help coming, okay? God is keeping record of everything on this earth that is transpiring. And I don't think it's by mistake some of the things that have happened in recent events on a global world stage, specifically with the UN. There are certain things that are being positioned and put into place. And there are people that are talking about this wealth transfer. I'm not the only one. And God gave me the revelation of that a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And now more people are starting to talk about that. And, I haven't been vocal about it on YouTube because I haven't really been on YouTube. But if you've been a part of my mailing list specifically for my marketing business, then I've been talking about this, okay? Because there's something stirring and God is preparing people. So if you're one of those women that I'm getting chills, y'all. So I know my help is here. If you're one of these women that God is preparing for that exodus, if you're one of the women that God is preparing for that wealth transfer, wake up. Wake up with love. Wake up and let's do this thing. I believe in you. You can do it. Until next time. Ciao.